All right then. I'll move on to our next speaker then. Kashi, arguing that the reputation is getting worse. Whenever you're ready.
Thank you. Thank you, members of the community, members of the opposition, and guest speakers. Joseph Campbell wrote, "We must be willing to let go of a life that we planned, to have a life that is waiting for us." Being a furry is perhaps one of the most liberating experiences I have felt, celebrating the fact that I'm able to identify with a fursona, which shares many of my personal attributes. It's my little self-portrait. The reason I love furries is because every one of us has created that self-portrait. And that is why it pains me to see that furry reputations are worsening in the eyes of non-furs. One of the reasons furry reputation has worsened in the eyes of non-furries is because non-furs know very little of furry culture, and what they do know is sensationalized by negative media coverage. Notably, CSI released an episode titled Fur and Loathing, framing furry culture as filled with sexual fetishes and deviancy, portraying fursuit orgies as part of the crime scene investigation. In the recent decade, canceled furry conventions and related incidents are increasingly plastered all over the news, with one of the most infamous being Rainforest canceled due to con attendees destroying hotel property. Booze, mushrooms, and nitrous oxide were ubiquitous in the halls of the Hilton where they stayed, not to mention recent media reports of furries offering free HIV testing in an effort to curb infection trees within the furry community. This further pushes the idea of furries being extreme sex addicts, labeling furry culture as problematic. Increased negative search mentions are also an indication of furry reputations worsening. A Google Trend search inquiry for the terms furry cringe show a sharp increase since Rainforest, which was held on September 2015. To make matters worse, roughly 30% of artworks featured on FA's front page on January 19, 2019, contain extremely fetishized material that may detract curious non-furs from further engaging the community. That is 105 of 360 posted artworks. That does not account for first impression images through Google image search, which appear to promote the most extreme material. Furthermore, the increased drama in our all-encompassing furry community has misled the fandom from its original roots and only served to worsen our public image. Drama towards other furs, drama towards artists and their unfinished commissions. All of these problems did not exist when the furry fandom first started, when people joined the community just to express their common interest in anthropomorphic animals. I would love to come out of my shell and talk more openly about my character as an extension of myself to non-furs. But in order to get there, reputations must be addressed as a whole. If we ever want to command respect as people, we have to command respect as furries. Let's, for once, in the words of Joseph Campbell, command the respect of a life waiting for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kashi. We have some questions for you. Simba, whenever you're ready.
Hi, Kashi. Thanks for speaking. That was very good. My question relates to the way that the media in general is very sensationalist. They will create whatever story will sell as much products as they can. You know, business is all about your bottom line. It's all about profits. So with that in mind, how do we actually do something about this? You know, how can we make the media essentially go against what they always do with everyone, which is put across the worst possible to sell, to make a profit? You have to have 10 times as much good to offset the bad. Yeah, what do you have in mind for that?
Yes, Simba, I appreciate that question. So let's first begin by addressing reputation. So the Oxford English Dictionary defines reputation as the widespread ideals held about some other group. So at the end of the day, reputation is determined by an outside group. In this case, furry reputation is determined by non-furs. In regards to the sensationalization of media, it's a very steep uphill battle, and it is something that we are currently struggling with. Most recently, however, there have been efforts to push positive media outreach, such as Sonic Fox winning Gamer of the Year, according to Kotaku. Also, we should, to combat sensationalization in the media, we should do an effort to show community outreach. So the furry community is actually subdivided into several communities. Houston First, for example, does an excellent job at engaging with SPCA in the animal rescue effort. So more increasing stories of those within the furry community, and when we can finally address the fact that our reputation is not the best, it has gotten worse, and when we do an individual effort to better the reputations of individuals within the community, I would say that's step one.
Okay, thank you, Kashi.
Thank you, Kashi.